So the next question is, what's with the Golden State Warriors? What's going on? I mean, they dropped another game at home to a team that they should probably, at the most, had beaten in five.
Yeah.
But now we're going to game six back in LA.
Honestly, I just think that they're not taking the Clippers all that seriously, and the Clippers are nah, stick around, Jay. We gonna be. Oh, Jay already left. Um, I think the Clippers are a hard fighting team, really well coached. They have a lot of guys who can play basketball. They got a lightning scorer coming off the bench in Lou Williams, and you have to take them as seriously as you would take the Houston Rockets, and they're not. And if you look at the games that they've lost so far, these are all games that had Golden State focused up a little more. They were winnable. They lost a freak game, 31-point lead. They shouldn't have lost that game. The series would be over in five if they'd won that game, obviously. So they're fine. They're fine. I expect the Warriors to be 100% fine. Um, Clay's fine. I think Draymond's fine. They'll be great. I think it's much ado about nothing. They let a couple slip. They probably gonna beat them by 75 next game.
I think they will beat them more. They'll beat them in game six, but I don't think as much ado about nothing. I think that they are showing some serious signs of success fatigue. And I think that losing Boogie is a bigger deal than people think. And it's not about what they do on the floor. It's not about that. They need another element on their team who has not won, who is driving the hunger, who can also be a a buffer between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant and anybody else whose face he might get into when things don't go right.
Nah, this is a
And
classic case of playing down to your competition, which the Warriors, in their boredom, have been more prone to do now than before because they've done it all. They've won over 70 games. They've been, I mean, they were the number one seed still this year, even in a year where they had a lot of losses they shouldn't have had. And I do think that when it comes to playing against the best teams, they same way they lost to the Clippers and they shouldn't have. They could lose to Milwaukee or Houston or Toronto if and when they shouldn't, right? I don't think they can lose to any other team. I don't think Boston or Philly or anybody else has the ability to beat Golden State. Even if Golden State's playing like their B minus game, I think they beat everybody else. But if they show up with their B minus game against one of those teams I mentioned, they could lose. I don't think they show up with their B minus game in the face of James Harden because your opponent's hunger brings out your hunger a lot of the time. And I think looking across at Pat Beverley and Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell, the L is silent. They just like they hoping to just sleepwalk and get the series over with. And Doc Rivers and his crew ain't about that. Pat Beverley ain't trying to let you get him over with. You got to kill him. You got to stake him right through the heart and leave him with no chance of winning. That's how that team is built. And they're just suffering from that. When they play against the Houston Rockets in the next round, I don't imagine this will be a serious problem. Although I think the Houston Rockets are better than they were last year. And I think the Warriors are in some ways weaker than they were last year. I think Izzy's a year older. Draymond's had his worst year in a while. They have some depth issues. I'm not sure if against a team the quality of Houston, picking up Bogut is as positive of an acquisition as you need. Although, they've had a lot of role players have some good games this year, and I think those guys can show up and do some stuff. But yeah, I have every confidence the Warriors should win another championship. I don't think it's serious trouble. I don't think they're unbeatable the way they've been in the past, not because of them, but because the rest of the league has gotten a lot better.
yeah, I picked from the beginning that I did not think that the Warriors were going to win it all. So I'm sticking to that prediction. I even more, I'm even more in that direction now. I don't think that they're going to win. I think that Houston. First of all, I think Houston had them beat last year. I think if Chris Paul doesn't go down, the Rockets would have beaten them last year.
I mean, that's
Uh,
a big old if.
there it is.
Steph would drop 50 on Chris Paul's lip in a heartbeat. He'd done it
Yeah, but
before.
Steph will
He'd do
also,
it again.
one thing that I think is not really being recognized right now is we're concentrating on this battle, this intensity battle, and this back and forth between Patrick Beverley and Kevin Durant. But where's Steph matching the intensity, matching the guy who actually plays his position's intensity? Where is he in that? And I know that Patrick Beverley spending a lot of time defensively guarding Kevin Durant, but I'm wondering where's Steph with this? Steph, it seems, when I look at him, he doesn't seem as engaged as he has been in previous years. It's just something looks off. He's rebounding out of his mind, which is kind of weird. But and I understand why he is, because of just the way that the Clippers are the way, just the way the the floor setup is. I understand why he's getting more rebound opportunities, but he just doesn't look as engaged to me. And that's not the reason why I think that they're going to lose. I stated the reason why. I think that they are suffering from success fatigue, and it's not anything that's voluntary. What it is when you win so consistently, it is tiring every single night going against people who every single time you play them, you're everybody's game 7 of the NBA finals, no matter who it is, every single night. And that wears on a team. It wears on players. And that's why I think that having Boogie active was very important, because he hasn't won. He hasn't had this championship, but he is a significant enough presence to be a motivation and to be a driver. When you've won already, and when you already feel like your best player is 1 foot in and 1 foot out, subconsciously it becomes a little bit easier to say, you know what, we already got 3 championships. If we don't win this year, it's not going to be the end of the world. And I don't, like I
Yeah,
said,
I think you're
I don't
underestimating the Warriors.
hold on, what I'm saying, I don't think that you consciously say that out of your mouth. I don't think you say, you know what, I'm getting the meeting and I just say, I'm Klay Thompson, man, we won enough, man, it's okay. I don't think you consciously say that, but I think what happens is it starts to be apparent in your effort and in just the small things. And I think that you're looking at the Clippers are punking the Warriors right now. Literally, they're out that Patrick Beverley is more physical than almost every single player on the team. Montrezl Harrell is destroying guys on the inside with a very basic pick and roll dive to the rim type game. They are they are they're literally showing more effort. They're playing harder than Golden State most times of the game. The reason why the games are as close as they are when the Clippers are winning is purely on talent. But the Clippers are playing harder than the Warriors. So I don't know, man. I think when we look at a team next in the next round, and this is I'm definitely saying the Warriors are going to move past the Clippers. But in the next round, when we had a team whose talent level is on par or closer to Golden State, who has not won, who is chock full of great, got outstanding players.
The only way Houston beats Golden State, and here's why I don't believe in them necessarily. Because the only way for Houston to beat Golden State is James Harden has to be what he was during the regular season at his best. And I don't think he has to play that way the entire game, but he needs to be able to turn that on. And that's something that's really I found admirable about Kyrie Irving. Is Kyrie Irving has been so insanely reliable in the clutch. Like it seems like he can just turn it on and just be the best offensive player in the world whenever you need him to, almost no matter how he's been playing. And when I say how he's been playing, I don't even mean bad or good. I mean passively or aggressively. I don't think he's gotten a lot of credit for that. With James, I need to see it from James in those high leverage moments. I need to see James guarded by Kevin Durant or Draymond on the perimeter, step back in their face and bop them 4 or 5 times in a row from 3. I need to see him draw them fouls over and over and over in the fourth quarter. I need to see him shimmy against the Golden State Warriors 2 games in a row. That's what it is. And do I believe he can do that more than I believe that Steph gonna have a 40-point game, Klay gonna have a 40-point game, KD gonna have 2 40-point games, and that's gonna be the series? No, I don't believe that. And that's why I'm not worried about the Warriors. Yeah, they've been bored, they've been inattentive, but I think they will be at their best when they play against the best competition. And that's coming up in Houston, and whoever's in the Western Conference Finals. They're probably going to get a little bit of a break there. And then whoever they face coming out of the Eastern Conference, which might be their toughest opponent.
Yeah, they won't be in the Western Conference Finals. They will lose to Houston, and they're going to lose to Houston, and it's not going 7. It's
Okay.
not going 7. It's not going 7. It's going 6 more than likely.
That'd be interesting if it happens.
Yeah,
I need to see it though.
yeah, I think it's going to happen. I just don't believe in what I see from the Warriors from an effort standpoint. It's too hard. It's too hard to motivate them right now. And one thing about it, and Shaq was talking about this on NBA on TNT. He was saying that it is difficult. He says sometimes veteran teams trick themselves and they say we can flip the switch. We can flip the switch when we need to. We can flip the switch when we need to. But when it comes time to flip the switch, you can't. You can't because you tell yourself and you lie to
I
yourself
feel
that
you on
you
that,
keep
but that's
going. But
something that I
hold on,
look at.
hold
Good.
on,
Okay,
hold
go
on,
ahead.
hold
Go ahead.
on. You tell yourself that you tell yourself that you can do this. And because we've done it before, we've won before, blah, 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 blah. But you can't. And when it comes time to do it, you cannot do it. And now you're either losing to a team that you shouldn't be losing to, or you're having a much harder time with an opponent that you shouldn't be having that hard time with. And this mostly happens after a long stretches of winning.
And normally I would think that applies, but since the Warriors were the number one seed in the West and the second best overall seed in the league. And well, actually, I think they might have had a worse record than Toronto. Maybe they had the third best overall record in a season where they were incorporating Boogie Cousins, and they were pretty bad with Boogie by their standards when they first started up. Their defense took a serious nosedive. They were completely free to the pick and roll, and even with that, they still wound up with the first seed in the West. I don't put the flip the switch thing on them. I think the standard for Golden State is so high that people expect them to win 67, 69 games every year. And for them, that's just not important anymore. The one thing I would be concerned about for Golden State is extending a series against a physical team opens you up to them bumps and bruises that could bite you in the butt against a team like Houston Rockets. Steph and I think KD both had minor lower extremity injuries towards the end of the season, and they could. This is just more of that happening, particularly with Beverley going after you. And he dirty. I mean, yeah, I mean,
Hey, you from
he
Chicago?
dirty. He's dirty as an old pair of drawers.
We
So,
come from he from Chicago. We do what we gotta do.
so if Beverley ain't going down with a fight, he might do something that puts somebody at risk, and that would be the real concern if they go into the next round not as healthy as they could have. But this could also just be the wake up call that they need. That's the flip side of it, is that
Yeah.
this could get them all on the same page. So I ain't worried about them.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, maybe they will turn it around. I mean, would I be the most shocked person in the world if they turned it around and played like they're absolutely capable of playing? No, I wouldn't be. Um, it could be something just purely stylistic. Some things that schematically that the Clippers do on defense, and and I don't ever want to minimize the mental aspect of this because at this level and at this stage of the season it really is a lot about mentality. And that was part of what I was talking about with Westbrook. I just don't think he has the right mentality. And right now, the Warriors, I question their mentality right now. Not overall, but right now. I question their mentality for winning another championship in this climate with the teams that they're going to have to beat in order to do it. But we'll find out.